There are two different kinds of choices in life, and people don't get it. And you have to know that there are two different kinds, and you have to be able to distinguish them. So we're going to talk about them today. And the first one we're going to call the choice of choice, and the second one we're going to call the choice of choicelessness. What do I mean? The choice of choice is an either or proposition, and once you made the choice, the problem, in a sense, goes away, right? So if you decide you're going to have you're going to buy one thing and not buy another, done. Or let's make it even more dramatic. Let's say you have a choice and you say, all things being equal, do I choose to have a baby or do I not? And that's your choice. But once you've made the choice, there's certain things that your choice doesn't matter. It's what life is inviting you into to everything in its season. So to make it really simple, although I want to make it a little richer than this, if you choose to have a baby, there is a time that the baby is going to need a diaper change. And to be perfectly honest, your choice doesn't matter. And if you choose not to do what life is saying is required of you in that moment, there will be all kinds of bad results. But your preference doesn't matter. Now, what I want to say to you is this: once you choose something that's the choice of choice, it really does become like to everything in its season, except you'll see that the seasons are kind of like day and night, or they get stronger and then they get weaker, right? So if you think about day and night, they are two interdependent polar pairs. You can't imagine one without the other, right? So I'm going to make this to everything in its season a little bit trickier, right? Let's say I choose to become uh I want to create a healing center. Which I do want to create a healing center, right? Well, I like being someone who takes charge, but there's going to come a time here that I've run out of everything I can take charge about, right? I've run out of being a leader. So life is going to say, Andy, like, you were in, noon, but it's coming to be dusk. And like, but I don't want to be a follower. There are things you're going to have to follow other people's leads now because you've run out. And actually, life is inviting you to be a follower. And so if I fight it, only bad things will happen because life isn't asking for that. And actually, if I could be a follower, I could learn some stuff. And then at some point or other, the following may wane. It's like it's going to become dawn again. And now it's going to be time for me to be a leader. So, what you're going to find is these interdependent pairs, once you made a choice, they kind of go like in a infinity loop that spirals, right? And there are so many of them leading and following, self and other, speaking and listening. I mean, they're infinite. And really, life is saying to you, once you've made your choice, once you put yourself into a context, ask life what it's asking of you. Because if you still go after what you prefer, even if you prefer one more than the other, it's only going to get you into trouble. So you have to be in this place of non-attachments to your preferences. You get to have them, but you have to say, life, how am I going to serve you given that I've made the choice of where I'm going to place myself? Now, if you're interested in this way of understanding things, we actually do whole trainings on this in life-centered therapy. You, of course, would have to, this comes later in our trainings, but you can certainly train with us. Go to lifecenteredtherapy.com. If you want to work with someone who understands that sometimes, what's really important is what we call this paradoxical choice of choicelessness, you can sign up for someone there. And we also have a whole section about this in our books. And you can read about it in the 1 Hour Miracle. So come and play with us. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye bye.